Hey guys, I'm Press and these phones are the best. We've got the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra versus the Apple iPhone 11 Pro Max, and yes, that is a lot of words for just a couple of phones. So which one of these two is the best? Obviously it's the one with the... This is gonna be hard, isn't it? Let's start with design. Samsung always freshens up its phones just a little bit, so the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is not something radically different from before, but it's touched up here, a little facelift there, so it looks and feels fresh, but it's still comfortable and very familiar. Apple loves to stick to its old designs for quite a lot of time. This does help to make the iPhones more recognizable in a crowd for sure, but for those of you that crave a fresh look and feel, they might get a bit annoyed by that. The Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is huge. It's got a 6.9-inch display with a 19.3:9 ratio, so it's a gargantuan phone. It's a two-hand phone for sure. It towers over the Apple iPhone 11 Pro Max, and even the iPhone is pretty big as well. But of course this should be no problem for you, because if you're looking at one of these two phones, you're definitely a power user who is ready to have a big phone to stuff in their pocket and use with two hands. Of course, the benefit is that you get a huge display. And let's talk about those screens. The screen on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is big, it's beautiful, it's got great crisp colors and details, and it only has a very tiny punch hole for the selfie camera. Of course, Apple loves its notch thing, so the Apple iPhone 11 Pro Max has that notch at the top of the display, which takes a bit of real estate away from you. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, of course, has the new 120 Hz display refresh rate, which makes all of the animations be fluid and natural and responsive, and it just looks great. It's addicting, and it's very hard to go back to 60 Hz once you've been at 120. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is sadly still locked at 60 Hz, and we are hearing rumors that even the iPhone 12 will not do 120. When it comes to color calibration, the Note 20 Ultra has a choice between the super punchy AMOLED colors, or you can choose natural mode and get very realistic, down-to-earth grounded colors. On the iPhone side, you only get one color calibration, which is Apple's super accurate colors. Of course, both of these devices are great media machines. You've got stereo speakers on both. On the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra side, we've got Meteor mids. The speakers sound full, detailed, quite loud, and they do not distort very easily. On the iPhone 11 Pro Max side, we've got this scooped mid sound, so it's a bit tinny. It's still loud and detailed, but depending on what you're listening to, the iPhone might sound a bit harsher than the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Of course, we've got the infinite argument between the two ecosystems. We've got Android on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra and iOS on the iPhone. And it all comes down to app stores, because a lot of developers prefer to make their stuff for the iPhones first, and then they may or may not port them to Android. So you still have a few exclusive apps for the iPhone, especially for creatives like musicians or artists. But Samsung does make its own suite of pretty good apps for its Galaxy line, the Galaxy S and the Galaxy Notes, and it also has extended partnerships with Microsoft, for example, to bring you some free subscriptions and some trials for their productivity apps. And since we're on the topic of productivity, the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is a multitasking king. You've got split screen, you've got floating windows, you can switch apps on the fly, and thanks to a ton of RAM on the device, I found that very often when I go back to open an old app, it instantly opens where I left off. Whereas Apple has kind of a different philosophy. You've got one app on screen, show it, play it great, it's fast, it's responsive, it's snappy, and then when you go to close it, it just freezes in the background. So in terms of multitasking, the Note 20 is definitely the king. Of course, Samsung also has the DeX, which is the desktop experience suite. What is DeX? It's a platform which transforms your Android into a more Windows-like desktop user interface, where you can have plenty of windows all around, you can attach a keyboard, you can attach a mouse and do your work on the go. The iPhone 11 Pro Max has none of that. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra also happens to have the S Pen, which is Samsung's signature stylus. It's powered by Wacom technology. It's great, it has been great for years, and this year it's been upgraded. It now has a 9 millisecond response time, down from what was double digits milliseconds, and it's very, very cool. It's responsive, it has tons of pressure levels, it even responds to angles. I will say about its new gestures where you wave in the air, don't count on them, they're not great, but otherwise if you want a stylus on a phone, this is the best device you can get for that, either drawing or handwriting. Samsung also really wants to push the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra as a gaming device, and of course with the Snapdragon 865 Plus or the Exynos 990, it's a pretty fast phone. You can't find a game on the Play Store which will make it stutter or lose frames. It's just a beast of a phone, and I had plenty of a good time playing some multiplayer games on it. Thanks to a partnership with Microsoft, you will also be getting a 3 months worth of Xbox Game Pass and access to Microsoft's xCloud game streaming feature, which should be coming in September if everything is okay with it. Of course, Apple's iPhone is also a beast with the Apple A13 Bionic chip, which is a record breaker in its own right, and it can of course also run pretty much everything on the App Store. There are some fantastic games for the iPhones out there, and you've got Apple Arcade full of pretty good looking, fun and even serene titles. Naturally, the biggest thing about smartphones, the cameras, and you may have noticed that huge camera bump on the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. Remember last year when we used to make fun of the Apple triple camera, the stove design? Well, now it looks tiny. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra's camera is big, bulky, and it has some serious hardware underneath. The main camera has a 108 megapixel sensor, but it does take 12 megapixel photos by default because it binds the pixels together to make big gigapixels and collect more light. Then you have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera, which has 5 times optical zoom. But I'm not done yet. You can also zoom up to 50 times with Samsung's Space Zoom, which is kind of a digital hybrid mix thingy, which magically makes things that are far away from you look sharp, a bit washed out, but still impressive. The iPhone 11 Pro Max is not insane. It has a 12 megapixel main camera, 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera and a 12 megapixel telephoto camera, which still has 2 times optical zoom. If you want to zoom in at the max, it's 10 times digital, so no 50, no 100, none of that. If you're into bird watching, maybe go with the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. But let's talk about image quality. You've got some running themes, like the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra is a bit colder and it likes to go deeper on the blacks, and you can really nitpick and pixel peep all you like, but they're fantastic. You've got great dynamics on both devices. You've got some pretty insane algorithms working in the background and just giving you the best possible photo with just the top of a shutter. Now, when it comes to video, the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra of course can record 8K video at 24 FPS, which is a lot of pixels. I'm pretty sure not a lot of people out there have the machines at home that can run 8K footage flawlessly, but hey, you've got the option on your Galaxy Note 20 Ultra. The iPhone 11 Pro Max caps out at 4K at 60 FPS. But there's still another selling point here. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra comes with a manual mode within the camera app where you can control absolutely everything: ISO, shutter speed, focus and color temperature, which is pretty great, and it even has focus peaking. Now, On the iPhone 11 Pro Max you don't have that by default, but you can buy and download a separate app that may or may not do that in a pretty good fashion. Bottom line, I really like the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra's manual mode, whereas I had to fish quite a lot to find a good app on the App Store for that. Last but not least, let's talk about batteries. The Galaxy Note 20 Ultra has a 4500 mAh cell in the back. That's a huge battery, and you know, it has a lot of hardware to keep on, so it actually can still only last you about a day if you're a heavy user, and you probably are if you're buying this phone. On the iPhone side we've got almost 4000 mAh battery, which also can last you about a day with a good amount of usage. Personally, I found that when it comes to gaming, the iPhone might drain a bit faster, but for all other applications, they pretty much trade blows. And that pretty much is it. Which of these phones do you like more? Personally, I have no idea which one I would buy. So, what about you? Let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe to PhoneArena if you haven't. I mean, what are you doing? And I'll see you next time.